This past week, we celebrated a huge milestone here on YouTube. We had our 1 year anniversary. So we decided we'd kind of reflect on the past year and what it's been like.
Yeah. So we posted our very first video, February 13th, 2024. Thank you to those of you who have subscribed during this time. We really appreciate it. And for those of you who watch our videos, if you've been enjoying them, we would encourage you to subscribe. It's free to do so. We'd love to have you follow along on our journeys. And we thought in this video, we would kind of reintroduce ourselves, talk about why we started our channel and what we're looking forward to this year.
For those of you that do not know, we are Chris and Whitney, and we live in the Windy City. And we decided to kind of share our lives of what it's like living downtown. Years ago, when we first started dating, we visited your parents that lived here. They've lived here for several years,
Probably about 17 or so years now. It's been a long time.
So it was my first time coming to this big city. The biggest city that I've been to was Cincinnati, maybe Columbus, I guess, if you count that.
Because you grew up in northern Kentucky.
I grew up in northern Kentucky.
In the country.
Very far from the city. So it was a huge experience for me. I knew that weekend that this is where I wanted to live. I remember saying that to you, like, I want to live here someday.
I remember that. I remember us walking, I think we were walking along Michigan Avenue, and you were like, I want to live here. And I was like, me too.
So throughout the years after that, we made efforts to kind of get to that end point. You know, I went back to school because I knew that it'd be easier to get a career in a field that I went to school for. Subsequently, I'm not in that career field, but it's fine. I have the degree, so it's good. It's there. It's holding me up on that support.
Yeah.
And then, we kind of like made lifestyle changes to get to that point.
We did, yeah. So when you were in school, we sold our kind of big house and went down to one car and decided to move into a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom condo on campus. So that we could kind of experience what it would be like living in a much smaller environment. Actually significantly smaller than the condo we live in currently, like about half the size. And and we did that and kind of saved up money. But during that time, we also, a lot happened. The world changed, COVID happened, a lot of things happened during that time. But I got interested in Disney cruising specifically. And that is how I found the channel Leg Life, found Adam and Sherry Leg through Disney cruising, interest in Disney cruising, and really just fell in love with their channel. And then because of COVID, and basically we weren't doing anything except watching TV for, however many years of our lives that was, I basically watched their entire channel and like everyone else's who had vlogged ever, on YouTube, it felt like. And I really loved what they were doing for Alaska. Like their lives were really interesting living in Anchorage, Alaska. That's obviously significantly different than living in, pretty much anywhere else in the United States. So I really enjoyed their channel, and we were like, man, we wish that we could find a channel like this that's like people in Chicago. So we started searching for that.
Yeah, like I had always been a fan of YouTube. I watched a lot of YouTube, but that was kind of like
it was kind of my introduction.
Your kickoff for YouTube. Yeah. Like you'd watch obviously videos, but then like you really got into it. But yeah, trying to find, what it was like to live downtown in Chicago. We had found
day to day.
We had found several vlogs of people that are from the Chicago area and were kind of what we were looking for. But it wasn't exactly like what you had mentioned, where it was like the lifestyle, like what it was like to actually live in the city.
Yeah, downtown specifically, because some of those were like they lived in the suburbs and they might work downtown, but they didn't like live downtown, and that is, living downtown without a car is different.
So when we moved here, we kind of like tossed the idea around about starting our own YouTube channel, and so we kind of kicked it off when we went to go see my brother get married in Las Vegas, and we kind of test run.
Yeah, we got a camera for free, which is a great way to get a camera. It was given to us by my uncle. Well, through my brother. My uncle gave it to my brother gave it to us. It was a long thing. It was an older camera, but it worked, and it was free. And so we were like, let's give it a shot. When we go to Vegas, we'll vlog it, and we'll see if we even like remember to pick up the camera and what it's like. So that's how we tested the waters. We did that in May of 23. We did not edit and post those videos until January of 24, and then we posted them in February. So we waited a long time. But that gave us an idea that we could do it.
Yeah. And then we kind of followed that up on a Disney cruise that right around the time when we were posting those videos, because we knew that we wanted to post content regularly. So we kind of like set ourselves up to where we could have like a good solid chunk of videos to release.
Travel vlogs seemed easy.
Yeah, that way we get kind of in the feel of being in YouTube and kind of posting videos and editing and posting and editing and posting, filming and posting. So that worked really well. So it was kind of like our foot in the water of traveling vlogs, and then we kind of have always kind of had that like Chicago.
Yeah, with like the desire in our hearts that like ultimately it would be about Chicago.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how we got started. And then just kind of hit the ground running, trying to get, as much Chicago content out there as we could, especially going into the summer, which is a great time to start vlogging for Chicago because let's be honest, in January and February, there's not a lot happening here. It's pretty dull. So, but the rest of the year, it's great. So, it actually worked out, I think, timing wise, really, really well. So that's kind of how we got our channel started. What's been, so we, full year in, what's been surprising for you?
I think that I knew how kind of hard it was going to be because I kind of went to school for audio video production. So I knew the whole, like, how much work editing was going to be and like how much work pre-planning was going to be. But once you're in it, like it's a whole different ballgame. It has been a lot of work. It's been satisfying work, but I was surprised at how much effort. It like sounds negative, but it's like I'm glad that we're putting the effort, but it is like a lot of effort. I think another thing that surprised me is that I really didn't like the sound of my own voice, and watching our vlogs when we're editing, it's kind of like I've gotten over that. There's still times when you're when you're editing, sure? I don't want to hear my voice. I think it's like a disconnect of I'm editing. I kind of like have to process myself, but when I'm hearing myself and like you're watching the vlogs, I'm like wear your headphones. Like I don't want to hear myself talk. So I'm still not over it, but I'm getting there. But that's like, and I definitely have like when I'm editing myself, I notice things that I do or maybe like behaviors that I have like kind of like pick up on like where I don't really notice that I'm doing that in the moment, and I felt like I'm trying to change that. Like I noticed when we watched our first Disney cruise vlog, or when I was editing that, I was like, man, I'm like super negative all the time. Like I didn't like that, so putting an effort in to not be that way is like been like a good thing for me because I feel like I'm not as negative anymore.
Yeah, I feel like it's been really easy to self-reflect. I think when you like watch yourself on video because. I mean, to your exact point about being negative, I think I remember when we were editing the cruise vlogs from the fantasy cruise, and you were like, "Gosh, like why am I so negative?" And it was like, it was rewarding's not the right word, but I appreciated seeing you recognize that in yourself because it's something that I know that you don't want to be that way, and I know we've had conversations around that and how do you make sure that you're looking at things through a positive point of view and a positive lens, and sometimes it's harder to like understand it when you're hearing it from an outside perspective, but when you visually see yourself, you're like, oh, wow, that's really, man, like, because your experience wasn't negative. You loved the cruise and you had a great time, but you're like, man, when I watch it, it looks like I didn't really enjoy myself, which isn't true, And then I had done some self-reflecting as well in our last year because I have realized that I interrupt you a lot.
Yeah, and we actually got called out on the video.
We did get called. Thank you for those of you who called us out in the comments. Called me out in the comments. So, because it's true, right? I think I'm a fast talker. You're a slower talker.
Yeah, it takes me a long time to get my words out. I don't know, my brain is not as working as fast, and I feel like you're a fast talker. So you're just like, what I'm going to say. So
I'm firing on all cylinders.
You're like, I'll take over it. And I'm like, sometimes it's like best for you to let me stumble through my words.
Yeah, it's hard for me because I want to be like, this is what you mean to say. This is what you're trying to say. So thank you to those of you who have held me accountable to that because I have recognized it, right? And then it's so cringy. You're like, I hate that I do that. Like, I hate that I do that. So something I've been really personally working on as a result of YouTube. So thank you, YouTube. Looking forward.
Looking forward. I think that this next year is going to be awesome. Something that we have kind of talked about ourselves and something that I kind of wanted to do is I want to start vlogging more daily and not necessarily posting it every day. I mean, kind of maybe like a week in the life of like, because our whole point of our channel is to like kind of convey what it is like to live in downtown Chicago. I think that for my work situation is very unique. I work as a kayak instructor on the Chicago River in downtown Chicago. And it's very interesting. And I don't feel like I share that enough. Like, we go kayaking, we do those little like small videos, but like, I kind of want to just do like more like a daily vlog of what it's like to work on the river. So yeah. I think that'll be a cool thing. It also gets me to be more in the camera. I feel like I have a tendency to let you just hold the camera and
always,
and I'm just in the background and make little comments.
Or you chime in and you go, yeah.
So that is something that I am looking forward to that, because it's going to be kind of a cool way to like share my experience, what it's like to live here.
Yeah, I think it'll be great. I also am looking forward to, we have talked about trying to do kind of, I mean, I'll call it like a series, I guess, but kind of neighborhood adventures, where maybe we take an evening during the week and we go out and eat at a restaurant in a neighborhood, you know, hop on the train and go out to, you know, like Pilsen or Ravenswood or Lincoln Square or something like that, to grab a bite and maybe show a little bit of that area.
Yeah, for those of you that do not know, Chicago, the Chicagoland area has 77 different neighborhoods. That's a lot. Obviously, we're not going to go to all of them, but if you are visiting Chicago, or you even live in the Chicago area, maybe you are familiar with some of those neighborhoods, but you're probably not familiar with a lot of the other ones. So that is something that I do want to like kind of convey through that series, is like what it's like to be in those neighborhoods, because they all are unique and they offer really cool things. So it's like, it'd be cool to kind of us ourselves experience it, but then share it with you. Yeah,
because we have a tendency, full disclosure, to kind of stay in our like comfort zone.
I think everyone does.
For sure. I think that's natural. And so we're kind of like, oh, and if you've been watching our channel for any amount of time, you know we go to Industry Ales all the time, because it's like around the corner. It's so close and it's good. We like it. So we kind of tend to just be like, well, we'll go to Industry Ales. So this is a chance for us to challenge ourselves, to step outside our comfort zone and go a little bit further. So, which I'm looking forward to that for sure. One of the things that I've really enjoyed about our channel over this last year has been like, it sort of has encouraged us to step outside of our comfort zone a little bit more and be a little bit more active.
Yeah, I think both of us tend to be homebodies, kind of like we are comfortable in our own home. So like, not to say that YouTube has forced us to do that, but it has encouraged us to get out and do more things. Like the first 2 years that we lived here, we, just because of the nature of us and our personalities, we kind of were like, we could do that, but we could just stay home.
And suddenly the weekend's over,
and then
we did nothing.
So with YouTube, it kind of is like, oh, like, well, you know, like I think it would make an interesting video if we went out to Pilsen and like, you know, tried several different restaurants, like, you know, things like that, where it's like, we possibly may not have had the desire to do that if we didn't have YouTube there to kind of be that encouragement.
Yeah, I agree. It's like an accountability partner. That's an accountability partner. That was really hard to say. So we would love to hear from you. So those are the things we're looking forward to, right? And the kind of the things that we've been glad to experience over the last year in YouTube. But what are the kinds of things that you would like to see? If you are someone who's interested in moving to or traveling to Chicago, what are the things that would be helpful or interesting to you? You know, what's the kind of content that would benefit you there? Yeah,
we know that whenever you're going to a city, you have like, what's the best restaurants? What's are the best places to stay at? Like things like that. Like all of those questions, like we're happy to kind of like give our opinion and help, and like kind of like what would it would be, give our best answers for those questions. So feel free to give us in the comments, like any kind of question you have about Chicago, let us know.
Yeah, 100%. So hope you enjoyed this opportunity to kind of get to know us and celebrate this 1-year anniversary milestone with us today. If you did, go ahead and give our video a thumbs up.
And make sure to subscribe. We'll see you next time.